Top 5 Best Bungie Games of All Time. Bungie Inc., established in 1991 in Bellevue, Washington, is known for producing solid hit game after hit game. And after 25 years of making games, which games were the best of the best? Hey guys, it's Elijah, and today on Rocket Sloth, we are taking a look at the best of the best Bungie games of all time. Let's get into it. Now, it would be easy just to put all of the main Halo games that were created by Bungie into this list: Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach, but what fun would that be? So instead, on this list, today we are looking at Bungie games that either changed the industry or were iconic games for Bungie as a whole. And spoiler alert, there are some Halo games on this list still, but we are going to be looking outside of the scope of the Halo franchise as well. Alright, let's go. Number 5. Number 5. Marathon 2 Durandal. Back in the early 90s, when Bungie was just getting its feet wet in the gaming world, Bungie created the first space FPS shooter in their catalog, Marathon. And while that game was revolutionary in its own way, Marathon 2 Durandal really refined on the ideas from the first game. The game follows a space soldier stranded in a ship with his female AI companion. The game, which has gameplay reminiscent of Doom or Wolfenstein, follows a much more story-driven theme, where the player has to use context clues to move on to the next area. On top of that, the AI companion begins to go rampant after so many years of use. Sound familiar? This is because this theme was then again the inspiration for the ending of Halo 3, where the Chief is stranded on a ship with his AI, and the opening of Halo 4, which wasn't made by Bungie, where Cortana, Master Chief's AI, begins to go rampant. This game, while often unrecognized by the gaming community, set the stage for the future of Bungie titles as a space FPS epic. The game also featured an 8-player multiplayer, which got Bungie into the multiplayer realm, which ended up being a major staple for their future games. Oh, and the helmet of the main character was later remade in Halo 3 and Reach, and it's still my favorite helmet, thank you very much. Number 4. Halo Reach. I recently did a full review on Halo Reach about a week ago on this channel, and damn was this a good game when it came out. Sure, the game hasn't been treated right by 343 Industries and Microsoft over the last year, and they need to fix that. But when this game came out, it was the perfect culmination of everything Bungie has done with the Halo franchise since. But this being Bungie's last Halo game, they brought everything Bungie had to the table. The campaign in this game really underlined what happened on Reach, but developed characters that players actually cared about. The stakes were higher than ever, and the game really makes players feel like they are a part of an uphill battle on Reach. But there's still a silver lining. Firefight was really refined to allow players to have the freedom to make it really crazy or really challenging, whichever the players wanted to do. Multiplayer, while less arena-focused than previous installments in the Halo series, introduced some really interesting game modes like Invasion, and refined game modes that have been around for a while like Infection. Forge was brought to a bigger level than ever before, which set the stage for future Halo games, while not made by Bungie, to be bigger and better than ever. Oh, and custom games was solid. This was the greatest send-off by a game studio I have ever seen in all of my gaming years, and 343 Industries really hasn't been able to replicate anything that Bungie has done. Number 3. Destiny. Not what people originally expected from the developers of Bungie at all, but in its own way, it was quite revolutionary for the FPS scene. While Destiny wasn't nearly as story-driven as previous Bungie games, Destiny introduced some things that were never seen before. The game features a multiplayer shared world that had major elements of RPG games within it, but we never seen a game as immersive as Destiny. The worlds really felt alive and felt populated with other players. Bungie stayed true to its roots, making a pretty fun PvP mode called the Crucible, and introduced a ton of different levels to a PvE game type. Sure, the campaign wasn't nearly what people expected and was rather lackluster, but the post-game and looting system developed some addicting gameplay that created a new core audience outside of its regular Halo fanbase. Destiny 2 is on the way, and with it looking like it has a stronger narrative, we can hope Destiny 2 will replace Destiny's spot on this list after it releases in just a few months. Number 2. Halo Combat Evolved. This game was revolutionary, period. It introduced some mechanics that had never been seen before and put players in a new world to explore. I remember landing on Halo and being so impressed with the concept of this ring world. The game introduced a lot of elements that gamers had never seen before either. Want to throw a grenade? Fine, you can throw it and you don't have to holster your weapon. Want to punch someone? Easy, just press a single button. The game also had a cooperative campaign, so 2 players could play through the game at the same time, and it wasn't something a lot of shooters had at the time. The story was great, simple enough not to overwhelm the player, and open enough to let players explore, but also focused to the point where the player feels the sense of the stakes and story. Multiplayer was revolutionary for its time as well. The game existed pre-Xbox Live, so LAN parties were needed to make multiplayer work. Was it inconvenient at the time? Yes. Did you have to haul your Xbox and TV over to a friend's house? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Being able to play with 16 friends at the same time and wanting to play with 16 friends at the same time was something really different. And there was something really special about being able to cuss out the team sitting at the other couch across the room. And finally, number 1, Halo 2. This game took everything that made Halo Combat Evolved great and expanded on it. Combat Evolved had a great, interesting campaign, and Halo 2 took it a step further, adding new elements of conflict, exploring the lore in the Halo world, and introducing a playable Covenant character. Cool. Halo Combat Evolved let you throw a grenade without putting away a weapon. Halo 2 lets you hold 2 guns at once. Everything about Halo 2 was just a significant jump from the previous installment. The cutscenes looked great for its time, the levels were diverse, and there was never a dull moment of gameplay. The multiplayer was a huge deal too. Xbox Live had just come out, and finally people could recreate that feeling of playing in LAN parties from the comfort of their own home. Voice chat was a new thing that allowed for players to communicate and, let's be honest, cuss each other out. The game also had an extremely competitive ranking system, and players were really committed to the multiplayer of Halo 2. This game paved the way for competitive FPS shooters that would become such a huge deal years later. The map design was amazing and unique, and for the first time Halo 2 built a strong community that was continuously played until the servers were shut down in 2010. Oh, and this game had players inventing new game modes and custom games. Infection, which wasn't a mode in Halo 2, was created by players who would host lobbies and have people switch teams when they died. It was different, it was creative, you had to trust that the people would follow the rules, but it was cool to see how a gaming mode fans just made up on their own later was translated into a staple within the Halo games. And that's our list. Did you agree with our list? Did we miss some games that you thought should have been included? Honorable mentions, of course, go to Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST, as they were both great games with great campaigns in their own unique ways. Both had a shared multiplayer that had some amazing vehicles, maps, and really fun custom games. But let us know what you think. How would you make the list if you were making this video? Leave a comment down below. I read every single one of our comments. And while this video is over, be sure to subscribe to Rocket Sloth for more top lists, gaming discussion, and gaming news here at your new #1 source for all things gaming.